Let me begin with a simple but uncomfortable observation. Many serious UPSC aspirants prepare history and culture extensively. They read NCRTs, they read standard books, they revise timelines, and they memorize art forms. And yet, when the prelims paper comes, history and culture still feel unpredictable. Some questions feel easy, some feel completely unfamiliar, some feel like guesswork. So most aspirants conclude like this: history in UPSC is random, culture cannot be controlled, like this. But that conclusion is wrong. History in UPSC is not random, it is just not recognized, because UPSC is not asking history as a subject, it is asking history as a set of repeating question families. And today we are going to decode those families from 2013 to 2025 PYQs and build a 2026 prediction framework. So before going to the very deeper of PYQs, you must understand one critical shift. What is that? Earlier, history was asked as content. Now history is asked as structure plus elimination. UPSC no longer rewards I read everything like that. It rewards I recognize the question type. Listen carefully. UPSC does not want you to become a historian. It wants you to become an officer. A historian knows the date. An officer recognizes the pattern of power. And prelims is not testing how much you remember. It is testing how you respond when you are uncertain. UPSC does not repeat chapters. UPSC repeats patterns. Before we enter families, understand how UPSC traps you. So we are going to discuss about three types of traps here. That is trap number one, familiar topic illusion. You know the topic but cannot solve the question. That is the first type of trap here is UPSC is using as far as history and culture is concerned. Then we are moving to trap 2, term recognition failure. You have seen the word but cannot place it actually. So this is based on terms. What is the trap number 3? That is association confusion. Like you mix person and event, ruler and title, text and author, like this. This is the association confusion type of trap. Like they they gave like this person and related to one event, ruler and title, but those are not belong to that particular person. This is the association confusion type of trap. This is, let me give you a real UPSC style trap. UPSC may give you a correct description of a Mauryan officer, but label it as a Gupta official. You will recognize the description, You feel confident, you mark it, and it becomes wrong because the association confusion type of trap is here. This is what I call right information wrong slot. UPSC does not test whether you know something or not. It tests whether you place it correctly or not. And these traps are not accidents. They are deliberate filters to separate preparation from recognition. If you misclassify the question, you misread the structure. If you misread the structure, you lose marks even after preparation. So, UPSC does not reward knowledge alone. It rewards correct decision under pressure. This is the three types of traps UPSC frequently using. So everything in history and culture fits into the question families, not chapters, not topics, families. Now, when I say question families, don't imagine them as separate boxes. Think of them as a system. Because in UPSC, families overlap. An institution can belong to a ruler, a doctrine can belong to a text, a site can belong to a civilization. So, UPSC does not test isolated knowledge, it tests connected knowledge. Now that you understand the traps, let us move into the core of this structure. That is what we call the question families. There are 8 type of question families are there. So, the family number 1 we are going to discuss about, that is Buddhism and Jainism. This is called as core philosophy system. What actually UPSC tests from this family is doctrines like Anekantavada, Syadavada, Anatta, like sects like Mahayana, Hinayana, Digambara, Svetambara, and concepts like Bodhisattva, Kevala Jnana, and epithets like Tathagata, Sugata, etc. These types of questions, concepts they are asking. Current question design patterns are not like who was Buddha, like not like this. Instead, instead of this, they are asking like concept comparison, sect distinction, philosophy application. These type of methods they are using. UPSC creates confusion between similar sounding doctrines, cross religion concepts, concept overlap traps like Anekantavada versus Anatta, Bodhisattva versus Arhat, like this. Ask yourself first, is this concept about reality, self, liberation, path? Not where did I read this? Let me simplify this. Ask yourself, what you have to ask yourself is this concept about reality, self, liberation, path? You have to ask this, but not ask this like, where did I read this? Let me simplify this. What is the first order question? These are the previous types of questions. Who was the 24th Tirthankara? These are direct questions. Like now, second order questions. Currently, UPSC is asking what is the difference between Jain Anekantavada and Buddhist Anatta? So, these types of cross religious interlinkings and differences they are asking. So, you have to focus on these types of concepts. If you are collecting facts, you are a librarian itself. If you are understanding logic, you are an officer. Let's take one PYQ from 2014. With reference to the religious history of India, consider the following statements. The concept of Bodhisattva is central to the Hinayana Buddhism. The concept of Bodhisattva is central to the Mahayana Buddhism. Which of the statements given above is are correct? A 1 only, B 2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. These types of questions asking those times. So we have to think like this for 2026 prelims. Jain versus Buddhist philosophy, core doctrinal differences. Applied philosophy, not direct definition. Now, once doctrinal clarity is tested, UPSC shifts from concepts to visual recognition. So, you have to think like this way for 2026 examination, not the direct definitions, etc. Jain versus Buddhist philosophy, core doctrinal differences, applied philosophy, concepts to visual recognition. We are moving to family number 2, that is temple architecture and culture. Actually, UPSC is what tests in this particular question family. Temple styles, Nagara, Dravida, Vesara, like this. Structural elements, Shikara, Mandapa, Gopuram, art forms, dance and sculpture, and UNESCO plus cultural link. When UPSC wants to use this type of current linkage with culture. So, what is the question design pattern as far as family number 2 is concerned? Those are statement based questions like correct feature, wrong mapping. Let's say, for example, Mandapa in Dravidian temple. What is the trap in this? Right feature, wrong style. So, these types of questions UPSC is asking from this type of question family. Please think like this. Is this vertical means Nagara or pyramidal like Dravida? So visual memory is greater than the textual memory question. Textual memory. So you have to think like visualization. So we are taking one PYQ. The Nagara, the Dravida, and the Vesara are the. This is the question. Options: A. Three main racial groups of the Indian subcontinent. B. Three main linguistic divisions divisions of India. Three main styles of India temple architecture. This is C. And D. Three main musical gharanas prevalent in India. This is the question. These types of questions are asking. These types of questions are asked in 2013 to 2016 times. For 2026, you have to do is temple feature mapping, cultural forms plus UNESCO, art and architecture integration. From visual recognition, UPSC move into spatial understanding. So you have to think like this: spatial understanding. So we are moving to family number 3, that is archaeology and sites regarding spatial system. What UPSC tests as far as family number 3 is concerned: site locations, excavation findings, civilization link, etc. What about question design pattern? Matching plus elimination, correct site plus wrong state. This type of question design pattern is using as far as archaeology is concerned. What is the trap in this? Geographic confusion. Example: let me take one example. Lothal, Lothal, Gujarat versus Rajasthan confusion. This type of geographical confusions they are using as traps. So you have to think like this. Always ask yourself, which region does this belong to? Use elimination like this: north or west or central. This type of elimination will be useful. Let me take one PYQ. With reference to the Buddhist history, tradition and culture in India, consider the following pairs. These are the famous shrine one side and location is another side. Tabu Monastery as location Spiti Valley. Second one, Lotsawa Lakang Temple matching Janskar Valley. Alchi Temple Complex. Third one, Ladakh. Which of the above pairs is are correctly matched? A 1 and 2 only, B 2 and 3 only, C 1 and 3 only, D 1 2 3. So these type of questions are asked. What you have to do for 2026? You have to you have to check Indus Valley sites, Chalcolithic sites, mapping based elimination. After culture and archaeology, UPSC moves into power structures and institutions. So family number 4, that is institutions. As far as institutions is concerned, what UPSC tests actually: administrative terms, governance systems, colonial and ancient structures. What is the question design pattern for this? Terminology based, like known word, forgotten meaning, etc. What is the trap here is familiar word, unclear meaning. Let's say example that is Mansabdari, known, but options confuse structure. This type of traps they are using. Ask yourself, is this revenue or military or administrative? When you gone through the question, this family combines with ruler, period, or policy. You have to ask yourselves. Let us take one prelims 2015 question, that is PYQ. Who of the following was or were academic critic or critics of colonialism in India? Dadabhai Nauroji, Subramanya Iyer, R.C. Dutt. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A1 only, B1 and 2, C2 and 3, D 1 to 3. These types of questions for institution purpose. What you have to prepare for 2026 is Mauryan officials, Mughal administration, constitutional development. Once power structures are understood, UPSC tests how that power was challenged. What is the family number 5? Modern history, that is movement system. What UPSC tests here? Movement logic. What is the method? Non-violence, boycott, etc. etc. What is the leader rule correction? These types of questions they are asking. What is the question design pattern? Association based. Correct movement, wrong leader. What is the trap here? Method confusion. Example, non-cooperation versus civil disobedience. So you have to ask yourselves while you are going through the question, what was the method? Not when did it happen. What was the method? You have to ask yourselves. Let me take one PYQ. What was or what were the object or objects of Queen Victoria's proclamation 1858? Here are the options. To disclaim any intention to annex Indian states, to place the Indian administration under the British Crown, to regulate East India Company's trade with India. These are the three options. You have to select correct answer using the code given below. A1 and 2 only, B2 only, C1 and 3 only, D1 to 3. These types of questions they asked in modern history. For 2026, you have to focus on Gandhi movements, reform movements, event method linkage, etc. And behind every movement, there are individuals, rulers, and leaders. So, our next family is rulers, dynasty. In this, what UPSC tests? Titles, achievements, region. What is the question design pattern here? They are using matching type of questions here. Correct fact, wrong ruler. What is the trap here? Cross dynasty confusion. Let's say example, Chola versus Pallava mix. These types of traps they are using. Misassociation across dynasties. How can you solve this? Ask which dynasty does this belong to? Let me take a PYQ. Banjaras during the medieval period of Indian history were generally agriculturists, warriors, weavers, traders. This is the question and options. These types of questions asked. For 2026, what you have to do is focus on South Indian dynasties, Gupta achievements, regional power mapping. But power is not only political, it is also intellectual. That is why we are moving to family number 7, that is text scholars. This is the intellectual system. UPSC tests here other text, school of thought. These type of questions. Here also matching design pattern of the question, similar names, confusion pairs. Here they are using name similarity confusion. You have to ask yourself, is this literary, philosophical, or religious? Then you have to solve this. 2013 PYQ. Which one of the following pairs is or correctly matched? One side literary work, other side author. Meghaduta, Kalidasa, Mudra Rakshasa, Vishakadatta, Devi Chandraguptam, Sudraka. Select the correct answer using the code given below. A 1 only, B 1 2 only, C 2 3 only, D 1 2 3. For 2026, you have to prepare Sanskrit texts, Buddhist or Jain scholars, intellectual traditions, and finally UPSC connects all of this with the present. So that is why you have to move family number 8, that is culture and current affairs. This is most dynamic system. In this UPSC test, UNESCO, GA tags, cultural news, etc. etc. In this question design pattern is static plus dynamic mix. This is volatile type questions. They are current affairs, using current affairs mislinks to trap UPSC students. So you have to ask yourselves, is this recently in news or not? Let me take one PYQ. Consider the following languages: Gujarati, Kannada, Telugu. Which one of the above has or have been declared as classical language or languages by the government? A 1 and 2 only, B 3 only, C 2 and 3 only, D 1 2 3. These types of questions they asked. For 2026, you have to prepare UNESCO, cultural institutions, heritage sites, etc. This is where static meets current affairs, and this is where many aspirants lost marks because they prepare them separately. Now pause for a moment. Till now we analyzed the patterns from that 2013 to 2020. You might still have one doubt: is this still relevant today, or UPSC has changed? So let me show you something, not from old papers, not from previous trends, from the latest UPSC. That is 2024 question. With reference to ancient India, consider the following statements. The Bodhisattva ideal is central to Mahayana Buddhism. Hinayana Buddhism emphasizes the path of individual liberation. Which one of the statements given is are correct? This is exactly what I told you, doctrinal distinctions. As far as family number one, how can you have to eliminate if both statements are conceptually correct? Don't overthink, mark both. So this type of preparation is needed. You have to ask yourself first while you are clearing the ask question, which family is this? This is doctrinal distinction. You have to identify the family first. Family number two, temple architecture and culture. 2024 question this is. With reference to Indian temple architecture, consider the following statements. The Nagara style is associated with North India. The Dravida style is associated with South India. The Vesara style is hybrid of Nagara and Dravida styles. Which one of the statements given above are correct? Here is UPSC is not testing memory, it is testing structural clarity. So you have to elimination all standard books truths. No trap, mark all. So you have to improve your structural clarity, not only memorization here. Family number three, archaeology sites. 2024 question again. Which of the following Harappan sites are located in Gujarat? Tolavira, Lothal, Kalibangan. Select the answer. You don't need all three, just one anchor. How can we eliminate? Let's take Kalibangan, Rajasthan. You have to eliminate it. Eliminate options containing three. So you have to eliminate the options, wrong options easily. For institutions and terms, family number four. With reference to this is 2025 questions. With reference to medieval Indian administration, consider the following. Ikta was a land. Consider the following. That is, Ikta was a land assignment system. First statement. Second statement is Mansabdari system was introduced by Akbar. Which of the statements given above is are correct? So you have to see the terms and revised properly. These are the core standard facts. Regarding modern history movements, family number 5, 2024 question. With reference to Indian freedom struggle, consider the following. Non-cooperation movement was launched in 1920. Civil disobedience movement started with Salt March. Dashed like movement equal to event plus method. If both timeline anchors correct, mark both. So these types of preparation you have to do. Remaining families also. Now observe this. This is not 2014, not 2016. This is 2024 and 2025 questions with using of same family. So that is why I'm explaining you to these types of families. UPSC does not change pattern, it only changes disguise. If you step back, all these families can be understood as systems like philosophy, spatial, power, movement, identity, intellectual, dynamic. These types of questions are asked from history and culture. We just understood this in families, question families. So UPSC is not asking history, it is asking systems of knowledge in disguised forms. So these types of questions UPSC asking. So we have to think like this: fact, understanding, next elimination, and answer. So we are going to move the themes for 2026. If you compress everything, all the PYQs, all the patterns, all the shifts, these are your 2026 high probability zones. What are they? Buddhism or Jainism? Buddhism and Jainism. Temple architecture, archaeology, institutions, modern movements, ruler matching, texts, UNESCO. Now pause here for a moment and don't just read this as list. You understand what this means. Please notice carefully. These are not topics. These are zones of repetition. And UPSC rarely goes outside these zones year after year. The question may change, the wording may change, the options may change, but the underlying zone does not change. That is why some aspirants feel paper was unexpected. But what actually happened is the pattern was familiar, but it was not recognized. Let me make this very clear. If you prepare randomly, everything looks important. If you prepare structurally, only certain zones dominate. Only certain zones dominate. You don't need to study everything. You need to study what UPSC repeats. Think about it practically. You have limited time, limited energy, limited revision capacity. So the real question is not how much can I study. The real question is what should I prioritize. Priority is important rather than how much can I study. And the answer is here, these zones. If you prepare these zones deeply with conceptual clarity, association, understanding, and elimination practice, you start controlling the paper. You start controlling the paper. If you ignore this and try to cover everything, you end up recognizing nothing in the exam hall. UPSC does not reward coverage, it rewards recognition. And once you start preparing these zones consciously, history and culture stops being unpredictable and starts become controllable. But let me tell you something honestly. Structure alone is not enough. You may know all the question families, but in the exam hall, can you recognize them within 60 seconds? That is the question. Structure without calibration is useless. That is the real gap. Students have information, but not recognition under pressure. At Metis IAS, we are not just building content. We are building your pattern recognition engine. Because prelims is not a knowledge test. It is a decision making test under certainty. Uncertainty. Do this in the exam hall. First 10 seconds, identify the family. Next 20 seconds, spot the trap. And final 20 seconds, eliminate aggressively, not perfectly but confidently. Not perfectly but confidently. History is not memory first, it is elimination first. Culture is not coverage first, it is recognition first. If you understood this lecture properly, history and culture will stop feeling unpredictable. Because now you are not studying topics, you are studying patterns. And once you start recognizing patterns, prelims stops being unpredictable. UPSC is not difficult, it is just designed differently. Thank you and all the best.